From broken rules to broken marriages, welcome to part 2 of our deep dive into golf's juiciest and strangest scandals. Scheffler's arrest. In an unprecedented incident at a major championship, world number 1 Scottie Scheffler was arrested outside Valhalla Golf Club before his second round of the 2024 PGA Championship. Police alleged Scheffler ignored traffic directions and assaulted an officer while attempting to navigate around a traffic jam caused by an earlier fatal accident involving a pedestrian. Scheffler was handcuffed, booked, and faced multiple charges, including second-degree assault of a police officer. The incident, caught on video, went viral worldwide, with most footage showing a relatively calm interaction, contradicting some police claims. Scheffler was released in time to make his tee time, where he shot a 66. Days later, all charges were dropped, with prosecutors citing a misunderstanding, and the police officer involved was disciplined. The bizarre arrest briefly dominated golf headlines, highlighting tensions between tournament security, local authorities, and high-profile players. Scheffler's professionalism throughout garnered sympathy, and his reputation remained largely intact, but the case remains one of the sport's strangest off-course incidents at a major tournament. Battle of Brookline. The 1999 US vs. Europe Ryder Cup at Brookline, near Boston, ended in chaos and controversy, after American Justin Leonard sank a long birdie putt at the 17th hole. The US team and their wives stormed the green in wild celebration before Europe's Jose Maria Olazabal had attempted his own makeable putt. The premature celebration delayed play for several minutes. European players and media lambasted the American side. Fans had been heckling and even behaved like animals, while US players acted like madmen in an atmosphere more hostile than a football crowd. One American fan even spat on the wife of Europe's Colin Montgomery. Sam Torrance, Europe's vice captain, called it the most disgraceful day in professional golf. The incident led to formal apologies and is cited as the low point of sportsmanship in Ryder Cup history. Racist jokes. 2 high-profile golfers faced backlash for racially insensitive fried chicken remarks about Tiger Woods. Veteran Fuzzy Zoeller, after Tiger's triumph at the 1997 Masters, quipped that Tiger should avoid choosing fried chicken for the champion's dinner menu, a slur playing on racist stereotypes. Zoeller apologized profusely when the comment went public, but he lost sponsorship deals and his reputation was tarnished. Tiger and Zoeller met for lunch, and Tiger forgave him, but the incident highlighted lingering racism in golf culture. Remarkably, in 2013, Spain's Sergio Garcia made a similarly crass joke at a banquet that he would serve Tiger fried chicken during the US Open, a throwback gaffe that drew immediate condemnation. Garcia issued a sheepish apology for his silly comment, and Woods noted the remark was wrong and hurtful. Racist comments. In 2011, Steve Williams, Tiger Woods' longtime ex-caddy, caused uproar after saying at a caddy awards dinner that his celebration of Adam Scott's win was to shove it right up that black ass, a direct reference to Woods. The comment came after a bitter split between Woods and Williams, following Tiger's sex scandal. Williams' remark was widely condemned as racist, triggering calls for his suspension. Although he issued an apology claiming it wasn't meant racially, the incident stained his reputation. Adam Scott kept Williams on his bag, but the scandal overshadowed several tournaments. Bunker blender. On the 72nd hole of the 2010 PGA Championship at Whistling Straits, Dustin Johnson grounded his club in what he thought was a patch of trampled dirt, only to later learn it was deemed a bunker by local rules. He incurred a 2-stroke penalty for grounding the club in a hazard, knocking him out of a potential playoff in a major. The controversy stemmed from the course's unusual setup, with hundreds of sandy areas, even where fans stood, defined as bunkers. Johnson's mistake and subsequent penalty provoked debate about fair notice of rules. Even PGA officials admitted the situation was unfortunate, though the penalty was correctly applied. This high-profile gaffe led to clearer signage and communication about bunker definitions in future tournaments. The Vanishing Act. Former PGA Tour star Anthony Kim disappeared from professional golf in 2012 after Achilles surgery, just as his career seemed destined for superstardom. Reports soon emerged of a multi-million-dollar insurance policy, reportedly between $10 to $20 million, that paid out on the condition that Kim never played professional golf again. Kim avoided public appearances, leading to a cult following and endless speculation about his whereabouts and possible comeback. Kim's case became legendary, symbolizing golf's greatest what-if story of wasted talent. The secrecy and rumors of lavish living, gambling, and injury struggles further fueled intrigue. In 2024, Kim made headlines again after signing with Live Golf, ending over a decade of silence. Kim's disappearance remains one of golf's most mysterious modern stories, sparking debates about money, burnout, and the pressures of professional sport. And believe it or not, we're only halfway through. If you're enjoying this trip through golf's messiest moments, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss part 3. It only gets wilder from here. Scorecard scandal. Before he became world number 1, Vijay Singh's career was nearly ended by a cheating scandal. At the 1985 Indonesian Open, Singh was accused of doctoring his scorecard, allegedly altering his playing partner's card to give himself a better score and make the cut. The Asian Tour investigated and handed Singh a lifetime ban from its events. Singh has consistently denied wrongdoing, claiming he was scapegoated and punished too harshly without due process. The incident forced Singh to rebuild his career in smaller tours around the world, including in Africa, before eventually breaking through on the European and PGA tours years later. His critics cite this early controversy when questioning his on-course ethics. However, Singh's later career was also marked by an intense work ethic and multiple accolades. The affair remains a stain on his early career and is one of golf's most infamous scorecard scandals. Mickelson versus Watson. The 2014 Ryder Cup at Gleneagles ended in a comprehensive European victory, but it's remembered more for the stinging public criticism Phil Mickelson delivered in the post-event press conference. Mickelson blamed Captain Tom Watson's poor leadership, contrasting it with the successful task force model used in 2008 under Paul Azinger. Watson was criticized for being aloof, out of touch with players, and dictatorial in his approach. The live airing of grievances caused embarrassment for U.S. golf and exposed deep fractures in team unity. The feud prompted a complete overhaul of the American Ryder Cup system, including a new task force model and more player input into future captaincy decisions. The episode is seen as a turning point for Team USA's Ryder Cup management, contributing to subsequent American victories, for example, 2016 and 2021. It also cemented Mickelson's image as a sometimes divisive, outspoken team figure. Doping debate. For decades, golf prided itself on being clean of performance-enhancing drugs. But that changed once formal testing began in 2008. The first PGA Tour player suspended under the new anti-doping policy was journeyman Doug Barron in 2009, banned 1 year for a positive test. Barron apologized and said he never intended to cheat. A higher profile case came in 2013 when World Golf Hall of Famer Vijay Singh admitted using a deer antler spray supplement, not realizing it contained IGF-1, a banned growth factor. The tour moved to suspend Vijay, but he sued, claiming he was treated unfairly since the substance's status was unclear. Eventually, the tour dropped Vijay's suspension, and the lawsuit was settled. The saga embarrassed the tour's anti-doping program and led to calls for clearer guidelines. Meanwhile, a few other pros, for example, Bhavik Patel on the Korn Ferry Tour in 2015, received quiet suspensions for PEDs. While no superstar was ever busted for steroids, the specter of doping became another off-course issue for golf. Notably, Gary Player once asserted that many golfers secretly used PEDs, though evidence remains scant. The sport's doping scandals have been relatively tame compared to other sports, but they undermined golf's claim of complete purity. The call-in penalty. In the final round of the 2017 ANA Inspiration, an LPGA major, Lexi Thompson was leading when officials informed her of a shocking 4-stroke penalty assessed mid-round. A day earlier, Thompson had improperly replaced her ball an inch off the mark on a short putt, as revealed by HD video. A television viewer's email alerted the LPGA, and after review, Thompson was retroactively penalized 2 strokes for the bad placement and 2 more for signing an incorrect scorecard. The penalty erased her lead. Though she bravely fought into a playoff, Thompson ultimately lost the major. The golf world reacted with outrage. Even Tiger Woods tweeted that viewers at home should not be officials, calling the situation ridiculous and unjust. This fiasco was a driving force behind rule changes in 2018 that abolished TV viewer call-ins and eliminated additional scorecard penalties when the player was unaware of an infraction. Augusta versus women. The home of the Masters faced intense scrutiny in the early 2000s for its male-only membership. Martha Burke, chair of the National Council of Women's Organizations, publicly challenged Augusta National in 2002, arguing that hosting golf's most prestigious tournament at an all-male club was sexist. Augusta's defiant chairman, Hootie Johnson, refused to budge, famously saying Augusta might one day have women members, but not at the point of a bayonet. To blunt sponsor pressure, Augusta National took the extraordinary step of dropping all TV sponsors for the 2003 and 2004 Masters, so companies wouldn't be embroiled in the controversy. Burke's protest outside Augusta during the 2003 Masters drew widespread media coverage but only modest attendance. The club did not invite its first women members until 2012, a full decade later. The Burke versus Augusta battle highlighted gender equity issues in golf and foreshadowed later inclusion firsts. For example, Augusta National now hosts a women's amateur championship. The scorecard blunder. At the 1968 Masters, Argentina's Roberto De Vicenzo famously signed an incorrect scorecard. On the final hole, his playing partner accidentally wrote down a 4-par instead of De Vicenzo's actual 3 birdie. Distracted and upset by a bogey on 18, De Vicenzo failed to catch the error and sign the card. Under the rules, the higher signed score had to stand, costing him a spot in a playoff for the green jacket. De Vicenzo handled the heartbreak with grace, blaming himself with the lament. "What a stupid I am for not checking the card." This incident remains one of golf's most tragic self-inflicted errors. Controversy, conflict, and a few crushed egos, golf's history is more dramatic than it seems. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and look out for part 3 coming soon.